right, let's get started. Welcome to the October board meeting. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, sorry for the late start. We had a great opportunity to visit Katie Markley and the new kindergarten room, so it was good for us as a board members to see full-day kindergarten rooms and listening to the community and getting that started up this year. So it was a good opportunity to see it, I think. So thank you, Dr. Morris, Mrs. Morris. Oh, she's not here. She went home. But yes, it was good, and Mrs. Beck. Dr. Beck, there you go. Got them both backwards. But it was a great visit, so thank you. All right, first thing up is Eagle Scout recognition.
Brian Holt will be.
Oh, there he is. You can go stand next to him. How's that?
Okay. Thank you.
Is that for I thought you
He doesn't need it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Holton, and I'm Scoutmaster for Boy Scout Troop 7 in Malvern, Pennsylvania. And with great pleasure tonight, I'm going to recognize one of our finest Eagle Scouts and one of your fellow board members here, David Nemeth, who's standing right here next to me. I was surprised that he was actually going to be having here with the sign in front of him, but this is great. Many of you may be familiar with David, the student. Tonight, I would like to let you know about another part of his life, that of David, the Eagle Scout. I met David about 6 years ago when he joined Troop 7. David started a little later than those in his age group, but he caught up quickly. Before we all knew it, David was on his way to becoming a leader. David was elected by his fellow scouts to be a patrol leader for 2 consecutive years. His successful track record in this position resulted in his election to senior patrol leader. As scouting is a boy-led organization, Troop 7 became his to run for a full year, and he did a great job, topping it off in one of our troop's most successful years at summer camp in 2018. It was at camp where he earned the Silver Buckle Award, which is awarded to the scout from each troop who demonstrated the most scout spirit during the week. After his term as senior patrol leader, I appointed him to be junior assistant scoutmaster, a position in which he served as a liaison between the adults on our committee and the youth leadership, something like what he's doing here, in fact. Another high honor earned by David was his induction into Order of the Arrow, Scouting's honor society, focused on giving back service and strengthening the organization. David loves a challenge, and he demonstrated this by leading his crew in high-adventure camping at Philmont in New Mexico. He and his crew members picked one of the most difficult treks available. They hiked over 100 miles and climbed multiple mountain summits over the course of their 12-day trip. Every Eagle Scout must plan, develop, and give leadership to others in a service project helpful to the community. Anytime that you may happen to visit Brightside Farm, please take a look at the information kiosk there. It was David who planned and managed its construction. This impressive structure took David and his team of workers over 400 hours of effort to complete. It's no surprise at all that David's long list of scouting achievements has culminated in his earning of scouting's highest honor, that of Eagle Scout. For this, we recognize him today. By looking back on his entire experience in scouting, it is with high confidence that I can predict great success for David going forward, and I think that scouting will have had a lot to do with it. David, we wish you well in your final days as a high school senior, and we can't wait to learn the rest of your story as you go on to college and then a career afterward. In closing, I'd like to thank the board members of the Great Valley School District for allowing me the opportunity to recognize this great young man for his record of excellence. Thank you.
David, while you get lined up there, that is my community, and I want to tell you, we are just thrilled with that improvement. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, sir. I have 2 Eagle Scout sons, and Mary's got 3, so it's a great, great rank, and I know you put in a lot of work to get there, so. And you did well with him, because he is a great liaison. All right, let's see. Student council reports. Let's start with General Wayne. Much better, we can see you.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Lang, and I'm the president of General Wayne Student Council. With me tonight is Sharia, who is vice president, Anthony, who's secretary, and Alex, who's treasurer. This year we are going to be very busy, and we are here to tell you about some of our upcoming projects. We had our first meeting at the beginning of October to meet all the representatives in 3rd through 5th grades. We discussed the many responsibilities that come with serving as a representative. We met again to hold our officer elections and to finalize the details of some upcoming projects that we will describe to you. Last Friday night, we represented General Wayne Elementary School at the Great Valley Homecoming Parade. We had a great time being part of the parade.
Our General Wayne Student Council has begun to help and support our community. First, Student Council worked hard to prepare supplies for General Wayne's annual soup night dinner. We took time away from our core extension and recess to wrap up utensils and get table baskets ready. We loved being a part of such a special night at our school. Maybe we saw some of you there too. Soup night is one of our favorite nights of the whole year. Second, we plan to make posters to advertise a community yard sale that will raise money for Julius Playground. The yard sale is Saturday, November 2nd. Come out and support such a wonderful cause. General Wayne loves Spirit Days. Last week, we had a week of Spirit Days to get everyone in the homecoming spirit. Throughout the school year, the Student Council plans many different Spirit Days for the student. Last year, we had one a week, and it helped make our school such a fun and happy place to be. We can't wait to get started on that this year. Have you heard about Ishi? A cute little rock with some great life lessons? Our school loves Ishi. We started off the year with a special Ishi assembly, and all the teachers and staff members read the book to the kids. Each month, we focus on one of Ishi's lessons, and October is about moving forwards, not backwards, when you feel stuck. You'll see the kids at GWES earning Ishi coupons and little rocks every Friday. We're all having a great time with this new project because we think being kind to each other and ourselves rocks.
Thank you for allowing us to tell you about the General Wayne Student Council. We cannot wait to update you again later this school year. GWES rocks!
Thank you. All right, middle school, can you top that? No?
Good evening to the board, Dr. Speaker Palabinski, parents, teachers, and Great Valley community members. I am Mason Sagarnik, the 8th grade student council president.
I'm Amit, the 8th grade vice president.
I'm Nadia, the 8th grade secretary.
I'm Gavin, I'm the 8th grade treasurer.
I'm Natalie, I'm the 7th grade president.
I'm Ryan, I'm the 7th grade vice president.
I'm Sabrina, I'm the 7th grade treasurer.
Our council has been very busy throughout the school year so far. We've organized a number of activities at the middle school. At the beginning of the school year, Natalie Dill, the 7th grade president, and myself welcomed each of the grade levels to the new year. All the officers also informed them of the opportunity to volunteer in student council.
We have had our first General Assembly meeting in September. The officers and representatives took oaths of office at the first meeting. Also, we reviewed our major events of the year. Currently, we have 95 total representatives for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade classes.
We had our first dance on October 11th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The dance had a fall theme and it was a great success. We had an extremely large turnout and about 280 7th and 8th grade students attended. In addition, we had Mr. Search DJ the dance and the PTO provided us with delicious food items. They are a tremendous help to the Student Council and we thank all of the PTO members for their help and support.
All throughout the month of October, the Student Council is hosting a pumpkin guessing game. Students can come to the main lobby during lunch and in the morning to guess the weight of a huge pumpkin. The entry fee is 1 canned good, and all the proceeds will go to a local food bank. The contest will end on Halloween, just in time to donate all the food for Thanksgiving. The closest guess to the weight will get to take the pumpkin home. We're hoping this is a huge success, just like last year.
Last week was Spirit Week. We had a different theme for each day of the week. Monday was GV Gear Day. Tuesday was Philly Jersey Day. Wednesday was Movie or Show Character Day. To wrap up the week, Thursday was Throwback Day, where all the students wore some of their favorite old trends. Friday was Color Wars. 8th grade wore black, 7th grade blue, and 6th grade wore white. Overall, it was a fun-filled Spirit Week for everyone.
The middle school student council marched in the homecoming parade on Friday. We selected the era of the 1960s to match the high school Lost in Time theme. We had a lot of fun making our banner and wearing the 1960s style clothing.
We are currently preparing for the Pennsylvania Association of Student Council State Conference hosted by Westmont Hilltop High School, located in Johnstown, PA, on November 7th to 9th. We are excited to attend leadership workshops and interact with the hundreds of student council members from across Pennsylvania.
Also in September, middle school clubs started. This year, the following clubs are offered: robotics, anime, yearbook, reading Olympics, guitar, and chess club. On average, 30 students participate in each club.
The middle school musical is Mary Poppins and will premiere on November 14th through November 16th at General Wayne Elementary School. Please consider attending the Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious production. Also, the fall sports teams are wrapping up their seasons. All of the teams had great seasons, and we are looking forward to winter sports. We would like to thank all of you for the opportunities you provide us at the middle school. Thank you for your time, and have a great night.
All right, job well done. I'd call that a tie.
Very diplomatic.
Let's see if the high school can top that one.
All right. So like General Wayne and the middle school, over at the high school, we had a very busy homecoming week. We started off the week with Philly Sports Day. Then we went to Yellow Day to support childhood cancer research. Wednesday was PJ Day, which also coincided with the PSAT. So the sophomores and juniors were really happy about that one. Thursday was Theme Day. So each grade did their Lost in Time theme. Freshmen were the 60s, 70s, 80s. Sophomores were prehistoric times. Juniors were ancient Greece, and seniors were year 3000. And on Friday, we have our classic color day where, what were the colors? I think freshmen wore gray, sophomores wore white, juniors wore blue, and seniors wore black, the senior shirts. Over the course of the week, homerooms were counted to see which grade participated the most, and the winner was announced at the end of the week. As usual, the seniors won, which was finally a good thing for me. Now, yeah, as a senior, so that was nice. We had big turnouts at the homecoming game and the homecoming dance, so we were all really happy about that in student council after we got over the long hours setting up and cleaning up. Let's see, looking forward, in the high school, we'll be having a visit from an author named Dashka Slater, who wrote The 57 Bus, which is a book that aims to change the way society views transgender people. This was organized by our very own Miss Bogan and will be on November 13th. So we are looking forward to that. Lastly, the GV School Board Instagram slowly creeps towards 100 followers. We're officially at 96. If any of the middle schoolers have an Instagram, please join to get us to 100. I've already asked everyone else multiple times, so. This week was a very exciting and very busy week for all of us at the high school. If any of you saw me at the parade, I was covered in aluminum foil, trying to look as futuristic as possible. I think I speak for all of the high school student council in saying that we're glad for this break from a long week of work, and we're excited to keep moving forward. Yeah, are there any questions? Cool.
All right, middle school and General Wayne, you may grab your parents and leave if you'd like, or you can stay for another hour or so and have more fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, for all of us that's left. All right, the board met in executive session to discuss some personnel and legal matters beforehand. Secretary correspondence? None this evening, all right. Oh, I'm sorry, the screen is broken, so the agenda can't be posted this evening, so I will try to articulate it a little more. Next up is our legislative report. Mary?
This month's report's only 64 pages long, so literally it is. It'll be extremely brief and just kind of give the extracts from it. So last meeting of the Chester County School Board Legislative Council was the 24th of September. Things that we touched upon was a review of the 2019-2020 Pennsylvania State Education budget. One of the big alerts is change in Social Security reimbursement. The Social Security reimbursement line item was zeroed out and added into the Basic Education Fund line item in the budget. It gives the false appearance of more than 647 million increase to the BEF. But over 476 million in that line item was from the Social Security transfer. Social Security funds will be distributed through the normal Social Security funding formula, which I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. The Social Security fund proposal was cut by 11 million, equaling a 51 million reduction from the governor's budget proposal, not a $647 million increase to the basic education fund. So the potential to have school districts absorb future Social Security increases since it's been rolled into the BEF. An overview of the School Code Bill Act 14 of 2019. Act 14 has multiple points within it, and I don't think I need to enumerate all of those. If you'd like me to, however, I'm happy to share that document with you. The overview of the newly enacted legislation, including Act 7, which is CPR, Act 18, which is trauma-informed education, Act 64, flexible instructional days, and Act 67, school security. Just touch on Act 64, the flexible instructional days. Governor Wolf signed into legislation the provision that 5 what we would normally call school days that would have to either be made up at the end of the year can be conducted from remote location. So that if you have the ability to access your curriculum online, that counts as an instructional day. However, the understanding is that not everyone has equal access in equal parts of the state or even within their own district, so it's going to be up to the districts themselves how best to administer that. It won't be one size fits all for the state. There's also an overview of the current CTE bill package and charter school reform package that was passed in the House and is now in the Senate. Federal legislation, the IDEA Full Funding Act. Federal funding, this is exciting, for educating students with disabilities would gradually increase with federal government taking on 40% of the cost, which is levels known as full funding by 2029. So that's a huge boost, a huge help for us. There is some question that was brought up at the committee meeting about non-public school transportation. It's Senate Bill 591 in Pennsylvania. It would reduce the 10-mile requirement for transporting non-public school students outside of a school district. The bill would insert a 5-mile requirement for schools to provide transportation to non-public school and charter school students. There's also been some talk within the committee on interest in solution to PSERS reform through education, through the implementation of a 3% tax on educational institutions, research, and educational ventures to help offset the cost of PSERS, and prevailing wage reform to offset the cost for districts. That's just very, very notional at this point. So the other thing that, and thank you to all my fellow board members for filling out the survey that I sent to you. There's a survey that has gone out from the legislative committee that talks about what the hot topics are, what the priorities are that you would like to see as school board directors addressed within legislation. And right now, the only 41 school board directors in the entire county. So if you figure there are as many school boards as school districts that we have, with 9 per, only 41 people have responded. Thank you, Great Valley, you're awesome. How many of us do you know? I don't have that degree of granularity, but yeah. So here are the hot topics right now. School district cyber education, which is House Bill 1897, was filed on September 26 and referred to the House Educational Committee. School board, school counselors, school social workers, charter school reform, and charter school transportation. So that is really the state of things. It's very fluid. It's still very, very early in the legislative year. Things are just ramping up. So we will have another meeting later this week, and I'll report next month for the last time on this. Thank you.
Thanks. And that survey was just Chester County School Districts?
It was just
The
Chester
IU,
County
right?
School
Yeah.
Districts, right.
But still, it's 12?
It's 15 school districts
Times
times
nine.
9. So,
Yep.
yeah. Just saying. Thank you.
All right, other reports.
I have 2 reports, Dave. First of which was, I did attend the Pennsylvania, the PSBA State Convention from October 16th to the 18th. And at our next work session, I would be happy to report out, since that's our obligation. I will tell you, just because I'm so excited to say this, when I do these professional developments, I seek things that are offered that would give me some information on certain things that we may be doing in our school district. And I will tell you that there were 3 of those, and at all 3 of them, we could have taught them. We are doing a phenomenal job here. And at our next meeting, I'll report out specifically as to what these opportunities were. But good news is we're doing great. So that's that. And then I have a CCIU report. The CCIU did meet on October the 16th. I was not in attendance, and they did know that. Prior to the board meeting, a reception took place which celebrated 50 years of career and technical education in Chester County. Dignitaries, former staff, and students, along with board members and current staff, were in attendance. We look forward to continuing being a role model for other schools in the Commonwealth and beyond of what a technical college high school should look like. Dr. Libitsky, the Director of Administrative Services, gave a presentation on our development of the 2021 budget. The synopsis is pretty lengthy, but I will tell you that Great Valley was very adamant last year, if you remember. I was charged with delivering the news that we would like the IU to do budgeting a little bit differently, and we are certainly moving in that direction. We are budgeting to stay within or below Act 1 this year. Previous years, the charge was we'll stay within the Act 1 index. Dr. Fiore really has taken a strong look at how our member districts may be able to be better served. And if that occurs, then our 86,000 students that we serve in this, from this IU will multiply, and that's really what we want. We're in the business to serve children. There was some new business. The board approved the organizational goals, define the IU's educational role, ensure the IU's financial viability, communicate the mission, foster the culture and brand, collective bargaining with professional staffs. We have a timeline. We've budget goals, continue to budget within or below Act 1, manage the budget with the greatly limited increases as approved by the board. I'm reading this because this is much different than it has been in the past. Manage the 2019 through 20 budget with the greatly limited increases as approved by the board. So the changes that Dr. Fiore is instituting at the top are being embraced by the board, which is a good thing. It is going to be a tedious process because there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of things that have not been done the way that Dr. Fiore is stipulating this time. So there's great things. As far as personnel, they did approve all recommended personnel actions, and the next board meeting will be Wednesday, November the 20th at 7:30 at the Brandywine campus in Downingtown. So it couldn't be better compared to what we've gone through in the past. We don't know how it's going to wind up, but it is certainly a process that Great Valley can sit at that table and work cohesively through. So I'm very grateful for that, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, any other reports? Superintendent update?
Yes. We are, as we attempted to do last year, we wanted to do a trial emergency broadcast system for Skylert so that everyone is able to determine whether or not their contact information is correct. So this test of the Skylert system will be held October 29th at 5 p.m. for staff and October 30th at 10 a.m. for parents. We will communicate that in advance via our website and Facebook, so people are expecting that to happen. The obligation then for the receiver, if they do not receive a message, they would need to go into their Skylert account and adjust their settings so that they are sure to get those notifications. These would be the notifications that come for weather delays or early dismissals. And we're working very strategically to make sure that we have those systems put in place as we discussed last year. So if you remember last year, we were attempting to do an emergency Skylert, and then we had a true snow emergency prior to the advanced notice. So we moved it to October, and hopefully we'll all be set. So again, October 29th at 5 p.m. for staff and October 30th at 10 a.m. for parents. And that is my update.
Just curious, for that, if there's parents who aren't looking at Facebook or the website, is there any kind of written note going home, is like a flyer, just so that people, just to sort of cover all the bases? I just wonder, if you don't get it, how will you know you don't get it if you don't happen to check the Facebook page or?
Well, we'll look to communicate with parents. I think schools can probably send home notices, and the PTO, we can send home notices. Paper notices have not really been effective. So, yes. The unfortunate part is, as I'm sure those of you who have been paying attention to the website and things see, that we have a number of notifications to folks to please go in and make sure they update their emergency contact information. Again, those people who are not updating their emergency contact information will also not be aware that they're not getting the emergency notifications.
What's the thought on 10 a.m. versus 5 p.m.? I would think I would want to get that emergency alert when I was at home and not at work.
We can certainly, the thinking is, in the evening, the communications will most likely come during the day for parents, either early in the morning or a snow alert emergency, or like an early dismissal. And that's really what we want to make sure, that wherever parents are, that they have access to that communication. That's the thinking. And we didn't want the teachers to get the notification while they're teaching. So that's the 5 p.m. Yes, yes. Yes, we can do a double call. We're trying to minimize that for parents. One of the realities, when the Skylert system is activated, the number will come up on the phone to the district office. That's the number that will show. And frequently, folks won't listen for the message that comes with Skylert. They will hang up and then call back and ask if the school district had called. So our thinking of doing it during the day is there will actually be somebody to answer the phone when they call to ask, and we can say it was a Skylert message. Doing it at night, if there's nobody in the office, we don't want to set up a situation where people get a call, they want to call back, and no one is here to answer the phone. So it's trying to make sure that parents, especially if they call, we can explain to them what the call was all about. So.
And the most important thing really is, most people find out about cancellations or delays, and it's not a big deal if you're stuck at home. It's the flip side, when schools got to get out early for whatever reason.
Yes.
And we need to make sure parents are notified that their child is on their way home or will be.
Right, and that truly is a challenge, because we have no reciprocity when it truly is an early dismissal. When we're sending students home early in an emergency situation, the expectation is someone will be at home to get the children. And if we don't check our systems, we're trusting that everyone's getting the message. So this is an attempt to minimize that.
Having made changes to my Skyward account over the years, I think that's really good, because at one point I only had my home number and my home email, and I don't check my home email that much during the workday, so I had made updates and changed it to my work phone and my work email or my cell phone, whatever it
Right.
was. But I think that's good, because even if people are actually are getting alerts, they might not be getting them to the right place, and that might make them aware of it.
Right. So thank you. And we will, again, if you could help share the word, that will be happening October 29th for teachers and October 30th for parents.
I love that we're getting out in front of dangerous weather season with practice.
I'm hopeful.
Any other efforts underway with your team, or things that we can help spread the word about that would help get the community in the right frame of mind for what's the right process when there is an early dismissal or an unexpected closing? What should you do? What shouldn't you do? How can we avoid some of the anxiety that always ensues with the first snowstorm?
I believe the best plan is to make sure you have a plan and that you communicate that with your child, that all parents communicate with their children. Last year, that was one of the best pieces of advice after the fact and review that parents had shared with us. My child knew exactly what to do because we walked through it when it was not an emergency. So if you get home and no one is home, what should your child do? Do you have a key? Is there a neighbor? Do you have a plan? Deciding what to do during an emergency is never the best thing to do. So that our efforts are to try to be as prepared as possible on our end. One of the systems that we've put in place is to have the buses listed, so when we do have an early dismissal, that We would be able to communicate on the website where buses are, that they've picked up the children, that they're on their way home, and we will be implementing that system, and we shared that last year. I am a true believer of, as prepared as we can be, there will always be those things that come up. So we will continue to monitor, adjust, and make changes to keep our children safe. But as a parent, the best thing parents can do is to make sure you have a plan with your child of what they should do when they get home. Thanks.
And spread the word.
Yes.
All right, any other, nothing else under superintendent's report? All right. Next thing up is public participation. If anybody's got any comments on tonight's public agenda items, welcome to come to the podium. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the voting session. First thing up is the consent agenda items 801 through 8.18. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. Do we have any questions or comments on any of these?
Mr. Barrett, we added 8.19, so it would be required to refresh. It's the active network. This is what we talked about for the summer camp registration, so that would be included. I apologize that it's added at the end.
That's okay, we can just,
8.19,
we
thank
can
you.
add, we can cover the 18 first and then just
Absolutely.
approve that one. So, no problem. Any questions on the first 18? How's that?
Excellent.
All right, all those in favor? All right, motion passes 8-0. All right, do I have a motion for 8.19?
Move to approve.
And can you just explain a little bit for everybody? And second, but yeah, thanks.
Yes, the active network is the resource that we will use, the tool that we will use for parents for the summer enrichment opportunity to register their children and provide the ability to pay for the system, to pay for their camps. This is only the system we'll be using for the summer enrichment opportunities. And as we shared last week, there will be a catalog of all summer opportunities in one place at one time. The first part of the catalog will include the Great Valley School District sponsored activities. The second part of the catalog will include those opportunities that are offered on Great Valley School District property, but not sponsored by Great Valley School District. So for those opportunities offered by Great Valley School District, you will be able to register through the active network. For those that are offered by outside organizations, there will be links that will take you to their sites to provide that registration. The goal for both the active network and the catalog is to minimize the necessity for parents to have to look in multiple places for the opportunities for their children. Our goal is to get this up and running in January, by the end of January, so that as parents are making plans, they'll be able to secure those plans for their children for the summer.
I just refreshed and I see the information. It says our approximate registration revenue. But can you say how much the system costs us? Confirm that it's being covered in what we're making. And then is it a one-time fee that we're paying, or is this an annual, whatever, you're going to tell us the cost, but is it, do we buy software and then pay maintenance fees, or are we paying it every year? If you could just
This is
explain
not
that.
software, this is the program that they operate, and it will be it will be built into the revenue that's generated by the camps. The camps are not, as we talked previously, the summer enrichment opportunities will, at worst, break even. So there will be no cost to the district to offer these. They're self-funded, and this active network will be part of that self-funding as well. So we only pay for the number of registrants that actually use the system.
Do we have to guarantee any minimum number?
No.
Okay.
All right,
Do we have a second, Dave?
we do. Steph seconded before the comments. All right, so we have any other comments or questions on it? All right, all those in favor? All right, motion passes 8-0. There's nothing under financial approvals. Do I have a motion for personnel approvals, 1001?
Move to approve 1001.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? Motion passes 8-0. The policies are there again for the first reading. Actually, isn't this the second?
No, this is the first reading.
First
And
reading,
we'll vote on
sorry.
the second
Gotcha.
reading next month.
Sorry. We reviewed them last week. Yep. And then there's some policies that will also be rescinded. All right. Nothing under program, nothing under facilities, transportation, or food services. I will open up the podium for anybody who has any other comments or any comments on any of the votes. Okay, seeing none. No responses to public comment from last time. Any other board comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I neglected to see that this was at my place when I sat down this evening. It's a certificate for David for his Eagle Scout, so maybe you could give him one more handshake.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. There you go.
And I had one more thing. There's a nonpartisan, non-school-sponsored League of Women Voters event. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because all school board candidates are invited. So if anybody's interested in learning more, you can check the League of Women Voters website. It's open to men, women, children, whoever wants to show up. And to the best of my knowledge, it's October 26th from 1, I'm guessing, till about 3 at the high school. Again, not
Different
sponsored by the school.
times, Deb.
Oh, different time now?
They
Okay, someone
changed
tell me.
the
As
time.
of today, the time was changed to 11:30.
Yes.
Okay,
And
thank
it
you.
is at the high school.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. It just happened today.
Whoops. I think the goal was to have it on a Saturday and during the day so that it was more accessible for everybody. So rather than having it at night during the week when people are busy or don't want to be out at night. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout. All right, any other board comments? Yes.
I just had one comment from a student who proposed one of the clubs that were approved, specifically the Students Demand Action Club. The student just wanted me to let you all know, if you didn't know, what this chapter of the club is for. Students Demand Action is a gun violence prevention and safety education organization through everytown.org. They aim to turn outrage and prayers that comes after all of these terrible events into real action to make change. And this is all under the fact that firearms and injuries and accidents with firearms are the second leading cause of death for young people. So I just wanted to draw everyone's attention to that. So we're moving forward with our clubs in the high school.
I have one
Thank you.
final comment. I realized that we had a very important facilities meeting last week. I was not able to be there. I did see that for other people who weren't able to be there, the full deck of 100 and some slides is available on the website. And it also says that it was recorded and will be up there within the next 2 days. I think it says by the 25th. So anyone who missed that, you can watch it. I'm looking forward to watching it.
And the next meeting for that is November 12th, is that correct? Can you?
Yes, we have an upcoming meeting the next 2 meetings are work group meetings. The first meeting, which was last week, was purely a presentation meeting of the foundational information from the facilities assessment. Now moving forward, we're getting into the actual work group process. 2 meetings, November 12th at 6:30 in the high school cafeteria. The following meeting is December 9th at 6:30 in the high school cafeteria. Again, as many people that are able to come to be part of that conversation and gathering of ideas. The work group
That's
meetings,
Public,
yes,
board
open to the
members,
public, as many people,
whoever.
community members, yes.
yes.
The final 2 work group meetings will not be recorded because the presentation style is not conducive to that sort of taping. It's a lot of conversation and a lot of facilitated decision-making. So the more people and differing of voices we have at the table, the stronger that the outcomes will be that will be presented to the board in January. On another note, I know we shared this last week, but we have our speaker series event on Wednesday evening, and the topic is kids and stress. It is at 6:30 at Katie Markley, and I believe as of this point, it is our largest registration to date for our speaker series. I'm hoping it's not because everyone is worried about kids and stress, but if it is, hopefully we'll all leave there with a lot of techniques to minimize negative stress for children. Thank you.
And maybe big people stress. Yes. All right, any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? Motion passes 8-0. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a good evening.